welcome to SKUXX News. I'm Harlan Jones.
And I'm Rebecca Muir. In today's stories, a new crime wave is sweeping the country in the form of woolen graffiti. Scientists have invented an invisibility cloak, and we help them find it. And the latest in weather around the country. But first, a story that will turn your world upside down.
If you think the world is getting more and more topsy-turvy, it turns out you're right. Builders in Germany have built an upside-down house. And before you think they may have read the plans upside down, they did it on purpose. The wacky abode was built as a tourist attraction, as well as being a comment on the state of the world. The house is 23 feet tall and rests on its roof. It has steel beams in the attic. Inside the house there are beds screwed into the ceiling, upside-down wardrobes, an upside-down kitchen, and an upside-down bathroom. Though it's not known if anyone has tried to go for a bath in it or has gone to the toilet. Normally a house like this would take 3 weeks to build. This one took over 4 months because the workers kept getting confused by the strange angles of the walls. Many tourists visiting the house complain of feeling sick and dizzy after just a few minutes inside. We now cross over to our reporter Tiana, who is inside the house. How are you feeling, Tiana?
Feeling good. Thanks, Harlan. I'm here with the owner of the house, Yashkima. I'm feeling very excited. So what made you decide you wanted to build this upside-down house?
Well, I always wanted an upside-down house. I mean, come on, who doesn't want an upside-down house? And I'm filthy rich, so yeah, I can afford it.
What do you think this house says about the state and the world?
Well, it shows the world's upside down. It's messed up, pretty much, like the bombings in Afghanistan. So sad. And the poverty in Asia.
What are some of the challenges you face with living in a house with everything upside down?
The toilet. I can't sit on the toilet properly because, well, I keep falling off and the water always gets out of it. And sleeping on my bed because I keep falling off.
Who is the person you want most to come and see your upside down house?
John Key, because it'd be good publicity and yeah, I'd like to see him.
Well, thank you so much for joining the show. I'm Tiana Krieger for SKUXX News. Back to Harlan and Rebecca in the studio.
Thanks, Tiana. Even watching that makes me feel like vomiting. And now for a story that is truly out of sight. Look out, Harry Potter. The world of science is catching up to the world of magic. Scientists in Europe have created a 3D invisibility cloak which can hide objects by bending light waves. It has been found that lights can be controlled using special tiny crystals that make objects disappear. So far, scientists have made small objects such as coins disappear, but hope that it won't be long before they are hiding cars, planes, and even people. People have always dreamed of making themselves invisible, one top scientist says. The possibilities are endless and we are very excited. However, since inventing the invisibility cloak, the scientists have been having trouble finding it. As soon as we put it down somewhere, it just disappears, the inventor of the cloak said. It appears they are having trouble finding other things too, like their lunch, which they think may be hidden under the cloak. What will this invention actually be used for? Hoping to see through the reasons behind the invisibility cloak, here is our on-the-spot reporter, Larissa, with more on this story.
Rebecca. Hello, I'm Larissa, and with me today is Kerry, the crazy scientist who invented the invisibility cloak. Hi Kerry, and thanks for joining us today. What made you invent an invisibility cloak?
Well, I did it because I thought that it would be better for the world, and yeah.
Can you show me how the invisibility cloak works, please?
Sure.
Well, that's how it works. What do you hope the cloak will be used for?
Well, I'm going to use it to get back at my enemies.
Why do you want to get revenge back on your enemies?
Because they stole my ideas.
That's very sad. Thank you for your time, Kerry. Well, that makes things very clear. Thanks for joining us. Back to you, Rebecca and Harlan in the studio.
Thanks, Larissa. And how's this for an interesting yarn? A new wave of graffiti crime is covering the country, thanks to an underground gang known as the Midnight Knitters. These wool-waving criminals are covering trees, branches and lampposts with small jerseys and scarves under the cover of the darkness. Police say the knitted activities of the gang are illegal because their woolly crimes are being done on public property without permission. The popularity of the woolen graffiti is growing and more public objects are being wrapped up every night. But the problem is growing more. Police say and warn that if the Midnight Knitters aren't caught soon, every tree, lamppost and traffic light in the country will be warmly dressed against the cold. The problem is spinning out of control. They're a close-knit of dyed-in-wool criminals. We're stitching together a case, but it's not seamless. There's no real pattern to the crimes, a police spokesman said today. So far, the criminal knitters have escaped arrest and continue to pull the wool over our eyes. Both the public and the police. We're now going to a secret location with our investigative reporter Leonie, who has an exclusive interview with one of the Midnight Knitters gang.
Joining me here in this top secret location is a member of the Midnight Knitters gang. Hello Shaniqua, and thanks for joining us. What led you into the dark underworld of the knitted graffiti?
My nan got with a gang member and they combined their two passions of knitting and graffiti, and they got me and my cousins into it when we were staying there in Te Teko.
Do you see yourself as a criminal?
No, not really, just expressing ourselves like any other artist would, and if anyone doesn't like it they can just take it down and we're not really hurting anyone,
Apart from trees, lampposts and traffic lights, where else would you like to graffiti your woolens?
We're working on a bus stop right now, so my cousin Tane won't get sick when he waits for the bus because his mum hits him for the hospital fees and just signs and stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever been in trouble with the law before?
Nah, but we get dirty looks sometimes, but we reckon they just hate us because they ain't us and they're cold and we're warm and yeah.
Thanks for your time, Shaniqua of the Midnight Knitters gang. We now go over to Hannah with the weather update.
Thank you, Leonie, and good evening, New Zealand. Let's have a look at tomorrow's weather, starting in the far north in Kaitaia. Look out for some pretty flash flooding and raindrops as big as your head. If you're going outside, wear a hat. Moving down to Auckland will be a mix of fair conditions and unfair conditions, but those are the conditions, so you'll just have to accept them. There'll be no weather for the Bay of Plenty, as it's taking a short holiday, but is expected to be back for the weekend. In Napier and Hastings, the weather will sometimes be changeable and sometimes not. We really have no idea what will happen there. In Taranaki, a mild depression brings with it very dull day with no highlights at all. It will be overcast and dull and gloomy all morning, but things should cheer up by the evening, so don't worry, everything should be fine. Wellington will have another capital day. There will be no wind at all, and the day conditions will be so pleasant they'll actually be extreme. In the top of the South Island, Kaikoura can expect to have a good day, meeting friends for lunch, going for a swim and reading newspapers. But try to stay indoors as the weather will just be terrible. A real mix for Christchurch will have some unreasonable rainfall, some sensible wind, some moderate thunderstorms and some very angry snow. And in the lower south, Dunedin will be frosty, cold and unfriendly until late morning when the sun will pop over for a visit. Everybody likes the sun. That's all from me. Remember, if it's raining outside, stay indoors. And if it's that's the weather for you. Good night, New Zealand. And now back to the news desk with Harlan and Rebecca.
Thanks, Hannah. Well, that's all we have time for. We hope you enjoyed this evening's broadcast. Thank you all for watching and we'll see you again next time. Until then, I'm Harlan Jones.
And I'm Rebecca Muir for SKUXX News Live. Goodbye.
E nohora.